Well, last night was our last night in Las Vegas. Our friends have all flown home, and the only thing that we have to do left until we roll out of here is finish filling our water and then get all the pets into the truck, and then we're out of here too. And if you can't tell by how I look and how I sound, we had many a late night here, or maybe should I say early morning, because one of the nights, Jenny and I, when we were walking back to our trailer for the night, the sun was rising. So yeah, we're pretty tired, but a lot of fun was had, and this was a blast.
Now, as some of you may be thinking, Vegas is not our typical scene. As a matter of fact, I would say it's very low on the list of things that we normally like to do. We love exploring national forests and being out in nature in the middle of nowhere. We don't like having neighbors. We don't like being in big crowded areas unless we're surrounded by our best friends.
Yeah.
So we ended up having just the best time of our life here in Vegas, and I am so excited for the next time that any of them want to decide to come out and explore Vegas. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, this was our first time, doing Vegas, the typical way. We were actually here
almost 2 years ago now.
2 years ago, yeah, and all we did was drive down the strip. We didn't go into any casinos.
We didn't
do
want
anything.
to.
Yeah, we didn't even want to.
No.
But it's completely different when all your friends, are flying in and renting a hotel, and you just party together and roam the strip and do a little gambling, and it was just so much fun.
It was an absolute blast.
Yeah, hopefully again sometime in the future we'll all be back.
For sure.
Got Min and Tat, Alice, Butters, Sweetie, and Jenny.
Ready to go.
Let's do
Hit
it.
the road. Woo!
This is where we are headed to, the Mojave National Preserve in California. And we chose this because boondocking opportunities abound, and if we do want to stay in a campground, they have one available inside. This area is managed by the National Park Service, and it is massive. It looks, what would you say, twice as big as Joshua Tree?
Maybe even 3 times?
Yeah, and Joshua Tree is a huge national park. So it is just an incredible expanse of open desert with these mountains surrounding it. It looks pretty cool, and we're really excited to check it out.
So we decided to come here to the Mojave National Preserve, mostly because we didn't want to drive all the way back to the Sedona Camp Verde area. That was about a 7-hour drive. This was only a 2-hour drive or so from Las Vegas, and it's not farther north than Las Vegas, so it should be nice and warm here still. We are a little worried because we saw a sign coming in that says there's no fuel for 100 miles. And so I think we're gonna have to be a little conservative about how often and how far we drive, and we very well may likely have to drive out of the preserve, fill up on fuel, and drive back in at some point in time. But we did stock up on groceries because before we headed out, I looked it up and the nearest grocery store was over an hour away. So we decided to just stop, and it wasn't a Walmart either. It was like this tiny little grocery store. So
yeah, there's like nothing out here. This is like the largest expanse of open desert I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so desolate. There's nothing out here. But there should be some cool things to do out here that we're a little excited for. But what I'm not excited for is attempting to pull into a campsite because, well, it's sand. It's all sandy, and some of it looks super soft. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we're a little worried about that, but hopefully the roads, the dirt roads, have all been well traveled and are well packed. We're just gonna have to be really cautious when we're selecting our site.
Yeah, we'll take our time and figure it out though.
Yeah. We made it to our campsite, and as you can see, it is pitch black outside. So we actually ended up breaking our rule of not arriving to your campsite at night because we were rolling in here and the sun was setting and we were just so close to our campsite, and we thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's roll the dice. I think we'll be okay, and we are. This site is awesome, and this area kind of has a Joshua Tree National Park vibe to it, even though all we could really see is what was illuminated by the truck's headlights. But yeah, we think it's gonna look really cool here in the morning when we can finally see everything. What's unfortunate is that the sun started setting at only 4:30. It's that time of year, and it was just completely black, pitch black by 5:15ish, and we just finished setting up, and it's 6 o'clock now, which, yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's that time of year, so you just don't have much time on travel days. Our travel days are always really squeezed. The sun rises later and it sets earlier. You just don't have as much time to prepare and actually get to your next destination before dark. And another thing that threw a wrench in our travel plans was both cats actually pooped in the truck while we were on our way here, while we were in the Mojave National Preserve, and it was like 10 minutes apart from each other. We don't understand why it happened, because we had only been on the road for about 4 hours at that point. They've never had this issue before, and Butters actually got car sick and threw up in the truck too, so we made 3 stops where we had to clean up, so that ate up a lot of time as well. We think we're gonna actually go back to having a litter box in the truck just to avoid this happening again, and we think that will solve those problems as long as we can figure out where the heck to put a litter box in our truck. It's already jammed full of people and pets and everything, so maybe we'll be able to find a spot for it. Hopefully we can. And since it wasn't night until we arrived at our campsite, one thing that really helped us set up was our headlamps. For you other RVers out there, if you don't have some headlamps, I definitely recommend you get them. It's just so much nicer than holding a flashlight or trying to illuminate your campsite some other way. You have both hands free to set up and do what you need to do. And there's a link to the ones we have in the description below. We love them. They're lithium battery powered, rechargeable, and they're really small and lightweight. So yeah, they're really great. But it is really windy and it started to rain and lightning. So I'm gonna go ahead and go inside. I'll show you guys what this campsite looks like tomorrow. Well, now that it's the day, I can definitely say that this site in the Mojave National Preserve has a ton of similarities to Joshua Tree National Park, and it really does feel like we are somewhere like Jumbo Rocks Campground in Joshua Tree, because right over there are these huge rocks of white tank Monzo granite, or what appears to be that, just jutting out of the ground, and they look so similar to what you would see at Jumbo Rocks Campground in Joshua Tree. But the big difference between here and the national park is that there's very few people here. There's another campground or campsite right over there that we've seen someone driving back and forth to, and we've seen a couple people hike up and down the road here, but other than that, there's just not a lot of people here. Whereas in the national park, it's just packed. You got to reserve your site in the campgrounds, and there's people everywhere running their generators and stuff, but here it's the complete opposite. We did sort of fail though when we chose this campsite, because it is way colder here than we originally thought. We thought, it's warm in Vegas and it's south of Vegas, so it should be warm here. And we also checked the 10-day forecast for the cities or towns that are just outside of the Mojave National Preserve, and the forecasts all looked great. Highs in the mid to upper 60s and lows in the upper 40s. But what we failed to realize is that those towns outside of the preserve are all at about 800 to 1,000 feet elevation, where we didn't find out until later that our elevation right here at this campsite is actually 4,000 feet. So it's 3,000 feet higher than the forecast that we had looked at. So we actually looked at this little thermometer that we've got that tells us the indoor and outdoor temperatures, and I can select the minimum temperature for last night, and it is 35 degrees is the coldest it got last night. So we are really approaching, you know, some serious freezing temperatures. So that's got us a little worried. And, you know, we've had to have the furnace running at night and in the morning and once the sun sets. During the day, thankfully, though, we haven't had to have the furnace running, just because even though outside right now it's, well, let me see. Right now outside it is 54 degrees, but the sun is really warm, so it's keeping the inside of our trailer nice and warm. We actually have to crack some windows because it'll get up to 80 degrees in the trailer and start to get too hot. So thankfully on sunny days like today, you know, nature is our heater instead of our furnace. Now, from our last video, we had a lot of you guys commenting, hoping that we were going to do a site review for the RV park we stayed at on the Vegas Strip, which was at Circus Casino. And unfortunately, we are not going to have a site review for that, just because we were only there for about 3.5 days. And the entire time we were there, we were either hanging out with our friends, taking care of the animals, or sleeping. And as soon as our friends flew out of Vegas, we rolled out as well. So we just didn't really have the time to film a full site review video, but I'll go ahead and review it for you right now. Basically, it is just a massive parking lot with, I think, over 100 sites. There's a ton, and they have plenty of very long pull-through sites. So even if you have a really long rig, like a 40-foot Class A, you know, towing a 20-foot trailer behind that, which we saw plenty of those there. I think there was some sort of like Baja competition or something in the area, because there were multiple of those rigs there. So even if you have a huge rig like that, you'll be able to fit. It only costs between $48 and $58 a night to stay there. So, you know, pretty affordable as far as I'm concerned to be able to be on the Vegas Strip. Security was very lacking. There was a gate that they closed at 8 p.m. or supposed to close at 8 p.m. One night we were there, we didn't get back till like 2 a.m. and go figure the gate was open. So I highly advise not to leave anything outside that you would be sad if you lost. Chain everything down if at all possible. We actually chained down the propane tanks to the frame of our trailer for the first time ever while we were there, because, you know, I don't want to lose my propane tanks. When you originally book online, it does say that there will be a $32 a night resort fee that you'll get charged when you finally arrive, but that's not true. We didn't get charged that resort fee at all. I'm pretty sure that's only for hotel bookings. So when you reserve your site online, or when you call, if you would rather do that, you'll only be paying the RV park fee, which, like I said, is about $50 a night. There are dumpsters and toilets as well. The electrical service at every site has 50, 30, and 20 amp. So all rig types are covered there. And there's also drinking water and dump at every site, so that's really nice too. We believe that there is a pool and a hot tub somewhere, but Jenny and I weren't interested in that at all, so we didn't even look, but I seem to remember reading that online. And, you know, if you stay there, you're staying on the Vegas Strip, so don't expect it to be quiet. It was loud basically the whole time we were there, so we slept with a white noise generator on Jenny's phone. She's got an app for that, so, you know, that helped, you know, drown out some of the sound. But yeah, don't expect it to be quiet. There was even some construction going on, and one night there was an event going on right in the parking lot next to the RV park, so it's just like a ton of loud music. So, you know, sleeping was a little difficult, but we knew that it was going to be like that. You're staying on the Vegas Strip, right? Bottom line though, would we stay there again? Yeah, we would. I thought the price was very reasonable for a spot on the Vegas Strip. You know, it wasn't there wasn't anything about it that like blew me away or anything, but it was satisfactory. It got the job done. All we needed was a place for our trailer to chill out for while we gallivanted around Vegas. So, you know, it got the job done. There wasn't anything that went like above and beyond or wowed us or anything, but you know, we weren't really looking for that. We didn't need anything like that. I am happy though to be off of that parking lot and back in this. Our campsite is gorgeous and the Mojave National Preserve overall is beautiful. So we're really excited to be here. One downside though of this being managed by the Park Service though is that we can't fly our drone here. So, you know, just like national parks, the National Preserve has same rules when it comes to drones. So I can't show you what it looks like from, you know, the best view, which is from the sky, which is a bummer, but you know, it's just something we have to live with. Them's the rules, right? But we've got a couple of cool adventures that we are really excited for, so you'll see those coming up soon. I'll catch you guys later.